Ronald Findlay, Power and Plenty, Trade, War, and the World Economy in the Second Millennium, Trade, War, and the World Economy in the Second Millennium. Prepare to journey through the vast history of global trade as we dive into the book Power and Plenty, Trade, War, and the World Economy in the Second Millennium by Ronald Findlay. The summary explores the world throughout the centuries, covering the crucial role of trade even as far back as the year 1000. 8 key regions, including Western Europe, Eastern Europe, North Africa and Southwest Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, Central Asia, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and East Asia, will help you understand the impact of political, economic, and social changes on global commerce. Discover how wars, religious conflicts, and technological advances have shaped and reshaped the world economy. Let the story of each region elucidate the complexities of trade, conflict, and power struggles that have been central to globalization's ebb and flow.
The roots of globalization. Globalization has a long-standing history that stretches back to the first millennium. The world economy has always been shaped by political, economic, and social upheavals, and global trade has existed for centuries. In the year 1000, 8 regions participated in international trade to varying degrees, including Western Europe, North Africa and Southwest Asia, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and East Asia. The process of globalization was not seamless. Goods moved around the globe by land or sea, and looters threatened overland trading in Central Asia. The prevailing winds also posed a challenge for ships transporting cargo destined for the international market. Despite these challenges, the roots of contemporary globalization can be traced to millennia of uneven economic development. Trade and conflict in medieval times. In this period, the Muslim world led commerce and technology, while a prolonged struggle among the leading European powers to control the resources, territory, and trade of the New World ensued. The Crusades spurred the transfer of technology from east to west, and the Mongol Empire created a 100-year Pax Mongolica, stimulating trade with Western Europe. Mongol dominance paved the way for trade and created an efficient way for germs to travel to new places, which spawned the Black Plague. However, this era of global disease spurred technological advances such as the printing press and transformed Western Europe into a major force in international trade, with Venice and Genoa dominating it in the 14th and 15th centuries. The rise of European trade. At the beginning of the 16th century, Italy dominated European trade until Portugal and Spain opened new global trade routes to Africa and North America through seafaring exploration. Portugal sold African slaves in Europe and captured Canary Islands natives to work as sugar farmers. They monopolized the Indian Ocean spice trade and plundered the Indian subcontinent. Spain pioneered transatlantic trade routes and discovered gold, animal hides, dyes and other products. In the late 1500s, the Dutch rose to prominence in international trade with their maritime expertise and mercantile zeal, building a huge lead and investing in military might to defend against Spain. Holland's growth led to the decline of Venice and Genoa as major ports of entry for Asian goods. These European countries rose to power by ruling by force, gaining a significant position in the New World economic system. The battle for supremacy. The book's snippet describes how Britain, the Netherlands, Spain, Portugal, and France fought for control over the Americas in the 17th century. Britain started by colonizing Ireland before expanding its empire to Jamaica, which became a profitable sugar plantation thanks to the labor of African slaves. Even though some British leaders had doubts about New England, the Pilgrims thrived and developed a diverse economy. As Britain's economy improved, it competed with the Dutch over trade, leading to 3 wars that were eventually resolved by trade compromises. The growing importance of the New World shifted the balance of economic power to Europe, while in China, the Pax Manchurica caused a population boom. Overall, the 17th century saw the transformation of the world's economic structure. The Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution caused a significant change in Europe's quality of life, but it also brought about suffering and poverty. While there is academic debate over whether it was revolutionary, the years from 1760 to 1830 were a catalyst for sustained economic growth worldwide. Notable advancements include iron, coal, and textiles production, with the cotton industry benefiting the most. Uniquely, despite a growing population, living standards also improved in Britain during this period. Evolution of world trade. Wars, politics, and inventions shaped the transformation of international trade from a small-scale activity into a massive flow of goods. The late 18th and early 19th centuries were marred by conflicts such as the French wars with Austria, Prussia, and Britain that disrupted trade. A truce was called in 1815, leading to the colonization and globalization of business. The Industrial Revolution gave rise to steamships and trains that lowered transportation costs and increased volumes of trade. The opening of the Suez Canal in 1869 shortened trading routes, while the influx of commodities lowered food prices in Britain. The 19th century saw international trade evolve into its present form. The economic impact of World War I. The devastating effect of World War I on global trade was similar to that of the European wars in the 18th century. The British kept a blockade on Germany while the Germans fought back with submarines. Despite the war's impact on commerce, some regions' economies flourished with increased demand for their crops. However, after the war, European agriculture resumed, leading to low demand for crops from the US, Cuba, and Java. The economic struggle resulted in protectionist policies and destabilized the international commodity market. The 1929 Great Depression made things worse, further accelerating protectionism. World War II and the rise and fall of globalization. World War II interrupted global trade, with governments actively hindering trade in even uninvolved regions like Latin America being negatively affected. Although liberal trade policies returned after the war, globalization had several setbacks. Communist regimes hostile to trade controlled significant parts of the world, and former colonial powers lost trading partners. Though many former colonies rebounded in the 21st century, the history of globalization shows that it progresses unpredictably, with periods of both deglobalization and regeneration.
In the end, the journey through global trade history demonstrated in Power and Plenty reveals that globalization is not a recent phenomenon but has deep roots in the past. Wars, conflicts, and economic development have constantly shaped the nature of international commerce, molding the world economy through interacting forces. Although globalization has shown immense growth and progress, it's equally important to recognize and learn from the stages of deglobalization and reglobalization that followed throughout history. Knowing these historical patterns can help us understand the contemporary global trade landscape and anticipate potential challenges in the ever-evolving world economy.